So now that you have gotten the first two steps of our sentence completion technique down and you've gotten all your questions in drill A right, we're going to move on to the third step, which is called predictions. And you might have thought we were going to move right into the answer choices, but we're not. What we're doing now is the thinking portion of the sentence completions, and it's actually the most important step in the four-step process. The reason why is because if you take a moment to actually think, I know this is strange, about what kind of word you need in the blank before going to the answer choices, number one, it's going to be way faster for you to just go right through the answer choices, knowing exactly what you're looking for. And number two, it's really helpful to know what you're looking for because most likely now you're going to get the right answer. So we're going to revisit that first sentence once again to talk about what our prediction would be if we had to answer that question. So that sentence said, despite the fact that it can serve to blank the soundness of an argument, inconsistency serves as a blank rhetorical device in the demonstration of a point. So we know that our trigger is despite, so we know that it's a contrast sentence. And we then told ourselves that our hints are inconsistency and the soundness of an argument. So if we think for a second about what inconsistency would do to the soundness of an argument. So if you're trying to make an argument and all of a sudden you're being inconsistent, is that going to make your argument better or worse? Clearly worse. So now we know that that first blank is going to be worsen, or at the very least, if you didn't think of the word worsen, you could always just write in a negative sign, or a sad face if you just want to be really cute. Now, the second blank, we automatically know is going to be a positive word. You don't have to waste time thinking about what kind of positive word it is, as long as you know the connotation is positive. And the reason why we know it's positive is because our contrast trigger despite told us so, because we automatically know that that first portion of the sentence is going to contradict the second portion. So that's what it means to predict. So any sentence you get, you're going to want to write in either a word, which is the best case scenario, and it doesn't have to be a fancy word. I don't want you using all your SAT vocab words here. I want basic words, or words that you've made up that really just give you an idea of what you need, or at the very least, a positive or negative sign so you know the connotation. So one thing I want to go over before we get to drill B is a concept called flying blind. And it's not an official concept, it's just a word that I use for certain types of sentences you're going to find on the SAT. Basically what flying blind is a sentence that either doesn't have triggers or doesn't have hints or doesn't have both. So if you look at that example, it says the boxer's blank results at the World Championship caused his fans to be blank. So if you think about this sentence, it's really not giving you much here because a lot of different words could make this work. So if we said that the boxer had good results at the World Championship, then his fans are going to be really happy. So that pair would look like this. Then we could also have a sentence where the boxer had really bad results and then his fans are obviously going to be sad. So then you'd have this pair. So now you're in a bit of a conundrum because you have two pairs of types of words that would make this sentence make sense. So when you go through the answer choices, you're not going to be able to look at individual words. You're going to have to look at the pair of words. So in this case, what we're looking for is either a positive positive or a negative negative. Other types of flying blinds that are contrast sentences will either have a positive negative or a negative positive that would make it make sense. So you just want to remember that if you get to a sentence that doesn't seem to be giving you any hints or triggers, don't get nervous. They could be giving you a flying blind question. So if you look at drill B, you're actually going to see that it has the same exact questions as drill A because we're just building upon this technique. So you can use the triggers and the hints that you spotted in drill A, and now what I want you to do is apply this and make predictions. So at the very least, I want you to put in a plus or minus sign, but whenever possible, I want you to try and add a word that would make the sentence make sense. So take a couple minutes, revisit those questions, and make your predictions.